Good morning, internets. This is Luke today, again with more Hojujutsu basic rope tricks, techniques, and other affiliations. So, today we're going to be looking at Kusari Musubi. That is literally the chain knot. Um, in English and European jargon, there's a lot of terms for it. There's the monkey chain, there's the daisy chain, um, the chain rope, chain knot, the dock knot. um, Generally speaking, in the West here, we commonly use it, and in fact, one of the only places I've ever seen it used is in marinas where boats are docked, and it's usually a sort of knot that's used to tie off boats, and it's easy to pull loose from one side, but resistant to being pulled on the other. So, without further ado, it's essentially a length of slip knots, but slip knots that have a sort of release function. In the Shibari world, they call them exploding knots. And I recently found out that in Takeuchi Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, they literally build full actual arrested Hojujutsu or Honawa ties based around this that release to a certain extent. It's pretty cool. I personally started off with a slip knot, like I've shown how to do already. Poof. So we've got a little loop here, and then what you're going to do is you're basically going to take the remainder of the rope here, the active end as they call it, and you're going to pull it through, but only so far. All right. I like to keep it tight here. Some people keep it really loose, but I personally like to keep the rope tight and organized. That way there's less opportunity for it to become snagged or caught on things, and it also creates a sort of fist load for when you're, let's say, if you've got this being used to burn up the remaining rope on like a full body tie, and the opponent's trying to escape. Well, this is a lot easier to hold on to than this. Whereas this, your best bet is going to be to wind it around, and you're going to be stuck to the person. You don't want that. So this creates a better fist load than otherwise. And as you can see, once you get into a sort of flow with it, you can kind of throw it down like that and burn it up. Now if you take a full length of 30 feet of rope and you do this, you're going to be roughly looking at about 10 feet remaining. That's still a lot of rope, so you want to make sure you're not just doing all this for the sake of it. Though I do use this particular method in one of the steps I use to condition the rope for usage. Like as you can see here, it doesn't catch on itself very much. If I hadn't conditioned the rope, we'd be looking at a lot more grippiness. You'll see that more with unused hemp. It really grips itself. The other quality of this, the part that makes it an exploding knot, and tell me that doesn't look cool. Isn't that pretty? The part that makes this an exploding knot is that unless you tie off the end here, the whole thing comes undone as you pull it through. That's pretty cool, I think. Now, one of the things you'll see in a lot of YouTube videos and such of people demonstrating this is that they'll have it at the end here, but then when they're pulling it through, they'll let it stay fairly loose. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Alright, so it'll be fairly loose like that, and then you'll see under pressure it'll be stretched out as such. Now under pressure is great, but the thing is that the rope's going to start shifting as it loosens and as it tightens and loosens and tightens. This is very flexible organic stuff. It's not structurally sound, inherently so, to the point where teaching kata around rope techniques is there's a very real reason why it's a high-level technique. Not to say that I'm a high-level practitioner. No, I'm just fascinated by rope. That's life. That's whatever. So a lot of people will keep this sort of looseness. My concern is in the martial context, this leaves a lot of room for it to get snagged on things. Arrows, debris, bodies, whatever. It takes nothing for an extra finger to get caught in there. Whatever. So when I do it, I like to keep it quite tight. oops, la, 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 right? So it's pretty tight. And this is actually a bit looser than I like. But that's how it works. Right? And it impresses people when you do that. It's kind of cool. So again, we're going to start off with a slip knot, like you can get from one of my earlier videos. And then here, just going to pull it through. Oops, kind of got it lopsided here. Pull it through. Again, I like to keep it tight. This is a good thing to practice too. It's good for your dexterity. It's good for breaking in the rope. And it looks rather pretty. Alright? Boom, like that. So besides it being a good fist load, that's one of the uses for it is for burning up rope at the end of a tie. So if I may be so inclined, here's my training partner. And here's a length of under-conditioned hemp rope. This stuff is actually from British Columbia, Canada, from a lovely company called Raw Organic. If you really like it, I'll give you a link in the description. Otherwise, it smells beautiful. So this one I've already pre-prepared with a loop at the end here. So this is essentially a Kusarinawa. And so, say we've got the culprit's hands here. This is their hands, triceps, back, neck. Pretty self-explanatory. So here, alright, let's say we've captured one of their hands. We'll twist it behind their back. We'll do a diamond tie here, or a Kusarinawa, the rotating tie. Here, here, here. Look at that, just like the books, huh? And then this is where you'd have the other hand, which you would tie in there. We have to use our imagination a little bit here because I'm not arresting someone right now. And, well, tie it off how you will. At this point, imagination again. But here, we create a loop. And this is a point where I've got about 3 or 4 feet remaining here. You don't want that just dangling off your opponent. So this is what we call burning up the rope, using excess rope. Right? So actually a particular quality of this tie is that when the opponent struggles against it, this digs into them, this digs into them, and this chokes them. Now, I could have knotted this off for safety reasons, and when I demonstrate this at seminars and classes, I do put an overhand knot here to lock it. So it's only going to pull so much on the neck, it's not going to start cinching. But classically and in a practical application, you want this freedom so that this can grind on the opponent and cinch further, basically discouraging them from wrestling against the rope, because with rope, if you keep fighting against it, you'll eventually get free. So they devised things like this, cinching knots that are going to suck, causing issues with the ulnar and radial nerves here, choking here, and of course the wrists. We often tie in a certain way that discourages resistance, including having the hands tied like this, which immediately starts numbing the hands. That sucks. And there's conditioning methods in ninjutsu to make sure that's not a problem, to help prevent that. But that's another thing. And then, boom. And you'll see in a lot of demonstrations, they'll show that off. Takeuchi Ryu does a really cool demonstration where the culprit runs away and the rope unravels like that, and they tie here and here in a certain way where it also quick releases. And so what happens is that I only just recently saw this, but it's kind of cool. So they run away, the rope explodes off of them, and they attack another person who then defends it with another technique. That was pretty cool. And thank you, Good Karma Videos, for showing us that, because wow, you should totally show him some support on Patreon. He's good. I've been following him for a while. Love the footage. Alright, so that is Kusarinawa. That's the purpose of the chain rope. It's wonderful, a lot of fun, and yeah, again, we can do it with the loop here. See what I was talking about, this stuff is far more harsh. I do have it conditioned in a classical way, one of several classical ways, not the one with the blood, the one with certain oils and waxes, and then proprietary methods with water. But boom, boom, boom. Kusarinawa. That's 10 minutes. Enough of my ugly voice. Have fun with that.